This is the new stacked theme song. Is that good, guys?
That's a decent way to start.
I think it's kind of pathetic, honestly.
But I'm just thinking I start every episode like that now.
No. That's how we lose viewers.
Okay.
You're trying to get us.
I've been working on that song all week. I've been we took a 2-week break to rebrand Stacked for season 2. I've been literally I have the lyrics right here in this book. I have the lyrics. I wrote out everything. All right here. And quite frankly, I just don't feel appreciated as the theme song writer to Stacked.
Okay.
All right, whatever. Welcome back, guys, to Stacked, episode 101, the season 2 premiere.
Hey!
I guess every 100 episodes, we're gonna be calling this a little season, which means there's gonna be some changes. So, first of all, first change, you've clicked on the video. It's a new thumbnail. It looks different. Oh, the background's new too. Oh, everything's looking a bit cleaner. Look, our heads have bodies now. We're doing cool little poses,
I grew a body.
You grew a body. Look at Brandon's holding his little Blu-ray collection, and he's it's great.
I got new Blu-rays.
You got new Blu-rays. Brandon, do you want to tell us about your new Blu-rays you got today? Just kidding. We're recording Stacked. He did get new Blu-rays today, everybody. Let's just say that. You guess in the comments below what Blu-rays Brandon bought today. Let's play a little game, huh? We'll have some fun games. And whoever gets the closest answer, I don't know how we get closest. I don't know where this bit's going. Let's just move on. Okay, so we're back. Quick thing to go over for season 2. We're trying to make this show a bit more conversation driven rather than round robin driven. In the past of Stacked, we'd often just resort to just going around in a circle and sharing our picks. So we're gonna stop doing that. We're actually just gonna talk about a subject matter. We're gonna have films. We're gonna have a stack of films. But we're not necessarily gonna bring them up in an order. We're gonna have the conversation guide when to bring up those films.
And we're not limiting it to 3, right?
I chose 3. You don't have to do that. I just choose 3. I don't know. I didn't really want to think of any more, but I chose 3 myself. That's fine if you have more. And then we don't have final stacks, so we're just going to talk about these films in relation to the subject matter. Maybe we'll talk at the end of reflect on some of the better picks that we had, and be like, hey, watch those films. It'll be sort of an informal final stack, but still stack driven. We're still recommending movies to watch together around a certain topic, but it's not going to be everyone gets a soapbox moment. We're going to be engaging into a nice conversation, and it's going to be exciting. The 3 of us are back. We're at it again, and we got a pretty cool topic to go over this week. Brandon, you were the one who suggested this. I love this topic, by the way, because it is such a fundamental thing of cinema.
It's niche.
It's a niche thing of the release calendar. Brandon, do you want to talk about this? Talk about our subject for this week.
Well, because it's the dreaded release month of post-holiday blues, but way too early for spring or summer blockbusters. Studios dump movies that they either don't want or don't think will succeed because they need products to release in January. They can't just have stale products because if people don't go to the movies in January, oh well. But they're not going to know what's coming out until the summertime. Because that's when everybody goes to the movies, watches all their trailers. Yeah, social media has changed that. But January is their dumping grounds. And occasionally, they'll come out with awards favorites. like early in the month in like a wide release capacity, but more often than not, it's like mostly shit.
Yeah.
And like none of that best like is exemplified by anything but the first week, where you usually see a really bad horror film get released to cinemas.
Yeah.
And it's torture, even for movie theater employees, because when I worked at the theater, like it was like always like a movie that was PG-13 or a soft R. So teenagers would get all their friends together before they went back to school to watch it and basically bump up the ticket numbers. And it just was awful. It was like the worst.
Wow. Yeah, it's an anomaly. Chris, why do you think they dump stuff onto like into why January? You know?
I I mean, I think Brandon kind of nailed on the head in the sense that like it is right after the holiday season, and that's kind of when we get our last flood of big blockbusters. So, like for example, in December of 2022, we got many movies, but yeah, I mean, the big elephant in the room obviously was Avatar: The Way of Water, right? But then, like for example, a lot of the other releases that come out throughout the year are, it's almost like you kind of can identify the seasons of movie releases. So, for example, like Brandon said, in the summer, you usually get your big blockbusters. Like oftentimes, for example, Marvel will release one or two things in the summer.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, usually in like May, and then maybe one in like July or August, maybe. I don't know. It depends every year. And then, you have your award season, which is usually in the fall. And then, so kind of like the way that I kind of see it is that these early months, January and February especially, are kind of your months where, like you said, studios are more willing to kind of just throw these movies into these months because they need to release something, and it's something that will make them just enough money. Oftentimes, these films are usually cheaper to produce in comparison to, say, a blockbuster. So the return on their investment is a lot more safer on that end. And then, it's sandwiched in a time right after the holidays, but right before, like, for example, spring, which is when maybe you'd start to get a little bit more on the higher end of things with, like, say, for example, I know in February, like, I think late February, we're getting Ant-Man this year.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the big blockbuster to kind of kickstart the spring season. Yeah, that's kind of how I saw it. And yeah, oftentimes January movies tend to not be of the best quality, but there's still some fun to be had, and there are exceptions to that rule, and I'm sure we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But also, I think it's like studios are willing to take more risks with February releases since it's like earlier in the month, so they don't have competition like they do during summer.
That's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
We're not going to talk about it, but it's a February movie. They released Deadpool, the first Deadpool, in February. It's an
Yeah, they did it as a
superhero
Valentine's movie.
They
Yeah,
released
and
the Lego movie in February. That came out 2
Right.
years before.
and both of those movies are like massive hits, right?
Yeah.
But it only, I think, because they were in February and the studio saw it as this movie has the potential to bomb, and it doesn't reflect on us as a studio because we released it in February, or it has all that runway until spring break when like movies actually start coming out that I think the masses are going to see regardless. But that's just me. Ethan, what were you gonna say?
I think we should let's get into the crap, shall we? Let's get into the movies that you feel like have defined January. Is there anyone that has like their definitive shitty January movie that comes to mind?
Well, the Bye Bye Man for me, because
Yeah.
that movie haunts me to this day. I was watching a movie with Evelyn the other day, and she likes to watch the trailers as like a little time capsule before I put on a Blu-ray or a DVD. So she will let the trailers play before we get to the menu, and we watched the Bye Bye Man trailer, and I was like,
God.
oh no. And that movie, I think it was 2016, 2017, PG-13 horror movie, or very soft R, like I said.
Yeah.
And I remember having to watch that movie 5 times because we had crowd control where we would have to sit in on theaters so that like teenagers wouldn't be too rowdy and rambunctious filming the movie, like having sex or smoking. That stuff happens.
Yeah.
And so like we need to be in there. And that movie is awful as is. So it makes sense why people would want to do all that stuff in the movie, because it's just so boring and like bland, and the scares are like predictable. It's just like the perfect cannon fodder and a nothing movie that I don't think anybody remembers unless you like were there for it.
Yeah, it's like it is weird. Like this is actually an interesting story that I don't know if I have the permission to talk about it. I'll bleep this out if I don't. I'm just talking about theater etiquette in movies that
Oh,
nobody gives a shit about seeing.
yeah, Devotion.
Yeah, Devotion. My
Oh,
girlfriend
right.
went to go see Devotion with her dad uh last weekend. And Devotion came out in November. It's in its last like week release, They're the only ones in the theater, and then these two teenage boys came in, and just in the middle of the movie, they just dropped trow and started, choking the chicken to Devotion. Um which is like, what the fuck? Is
Of
that
all movies, but okay.
like,
Jonathan
that's-
Majors, he's like
Yeah, Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell.
That's the type of
they're
blokes
hunks.
you get from the January season, I guess. But that just disgusted me and just made me so mad that people would even think to do that in the movie theater. To my girlfriend, no less. I was just like, what the hell? I want to go after those guys.
But nobody goes to the movies in
But nobody goes to the
January.
movies in January, and that's why they thought it was a good idea to do it. I guess I don't fucking.
And I guess devotion of all movies.
Stay
I guess.
at home. Stay at home. What are you doing? Okay.
It's returning. This is the great return that
The
people
Great
are talking
Return.
about.
I know.
It's because like we had like a moment of peace. You remember
'cause
when we
only
went to see
people who
Nobody?
truly loved film. Yeah, only people who truly love film used to go to movies now because everyone else thought it was too dangerous.
And now it's like, oh, like the schlockheads are showing up.
Yeah. It's just disgusting. Okay, I want to talk about. For me, this is the definitive January bad movie. So the movies that I picked out for this category, I want to talk about. One aspect of January is I feel like the awards films that sort of flood into January. You'll see that a lot, like limited.
Are we talking
release.
bad?
No. This is just this is not bad. These are good awards films that limited release in December and then sometimes leak into January. So we always see those films that are like really good, but we couldn't have the chance to in 2020, like in the year before. We see them this year, But I don't want to talk about that yet. Then there's like sometimes there's some wild cards that I'll talk about, one wild card, and then there's these ridiculous movies that come out that they know nobody's gonna see. That this movie just it feels like the month of January to me, and that we saw this movie all together, boys.
It's not the nut job.
No, it's The Upside.
Oh my god, The Upside.
Fuck that movie, bro. Oh my god. I just okay, so it's The Upside. It is an English remake of one of the best French films ever made, The Intouchables. Which, if you've never seen that film, we've talked about it on Stacked, I think. Yes, yeah, we did for friendship movies. Go see that movie. That movie is absolutely amazing. The Upside stars Kevin Hart, who takes care of Bryan Cranston, who's a quadriplegic, and they start, he's a really rich quadriplegic, and Kevin Hart, he's very poor, and they sort of, it's supposed to be a movie about like coming together amidst their completely different backgrounds, and forming a special relationship, but they just take everything that's right about the French film and they just make it so soapy and cheesy. It's like it's lit very soft, and it's just like it's not funny at all. It just the mood that movie makes me in. Like that's like the January mood where you're just like, oh, January, ew, And that was the first movie I thought of when I thought of January movies, because like I was dreading to see that movie beforehand, which is why we all saw it, because we're such big fans of the original.
No, Chris was actually looking forward to it.
Chris was, but
And-
Chris.
Well, because I hadn't seen the original, and
Yeah.
like I like me some Kevin Hart comedy, and I love Bryan Cranston. But like, those two, man, the chemistry just wasn't there for those two.
Not at all.
But like,
Don't
it
watch
is what it
foreign
is.
remakes unless it's A Man Called Otto, because apparently that's good. I don't know.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what. I mean, Chris Stuckman only reviews movies he likes now, and he liked it.
He
so.
reviewed it, man. Well, if the Stuckmanizer likes it, then shit.
I guess so.
I guess I got to go see it. Chris, what kind of shit January movies you got, huh?
I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was like, the only thing that really came to mind, but I checked, we saw this in February, but I don't know if this counts. So I don't know if this counts because we didn't see it opening weekend, so maybe you could classify this as a January movie.
Did it come out?
You guys remember? I think so, but I'm not
okay, that's fine.
positive on it. But I have two I want to pitch. One of them is definitely a January movie, but I'll throw in this one real quick, just for conversation's sake. You guys remember The Kid Who Would Be King?
Yeah,
I enjoyed that movie.
No, that's a January
enjoyed
movie, dude.
That is a January movie if I've ever seen one. Okay, so anyone who wants to know, The Kid Who Would Be
Right,
King
but-
was a 2019 release following this like British kid named Alex who stumbles upon the mythical sword Excalibur and goes on, the journey of finding his knights and taking down this like mystical creature that's trying to overtake the school because that's the level of stakes that we have with this movie. There is one really good joke in this movie where they shoot down a bird creature of some form and it lets out the funniest scream as it goes down.
Yeah.
He goes, Merlin, and then the bird goes, ah!
And then dive bombs into the field. It's hilarious. But
It's
other
so
than that,
funny.
yeah, this is the kind of schlock like movie that you kind of. I mean, it's not like we went into this movie expecting something, anything more than what we got. We got exactly the movie that I think we were expecting. I don't know about you
I
guys.
enjoyed it, but it screams January movie, and honestly, I feel like it would be more of a guilty pleasure because it's not a good movie.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
it's a
true.
movie that they're like interesting concept, but we can dump this. Like nobody's gonna watch it, and nobody did. Like I don't think
Yeah,
anybody.
I think it's
this-
pretty much just us. Just
Yeah.
us. But January movie that I do want to talk about, which is for me at least this year's January movie, is Mithrigan.
Yeah, dude.
Mithrigan.
This will be good. This is like a little Mithrigan
Perfect.
review because we all just saw that on Sunday
Yes.
at the AMC Burbank 16.
at the AMC Look at us. We're like the AMC movie talk. We go to the AMC Burbank 16. No, but we all rounded up our pals to go see Mithrigan, and a lot of hype surrounding this movie, and I got the hype around it because the trailers were kind of I didn't think the trailers were hilarious, like her dance or anything,
Yeah,
but I got why people thought that was funny.
it looked
know.
schlocky,
It looked very schlocky. It looked very campy, And I think we all went into this movie with the same mentality that we went into for Violent Night. We're like, we just like this is sort of like I'm coining this as like the Joey Jordan philosophy. Because he's like I'm just going in to have a good time. That's all he wanted. That's all he ever wants for these kind of movies. Like I'm just looking for a fun time. And
I
that's
want
all
the
that
audience
matters.
experience to
Yeah,
be
it's the audience experience. We wanted the audience to be like laughing, cracking at the movie, and we got that with A Violent Night when we saw that last month. But with Mithrigan, no sir.
It
No,
felt
yeah,
like we were on a different strain than the rest of the audience.
Yeah. And like
now you know how I felt when we saw Instant Family. That's what it was like for me. Okay. Because
No, but I've had this
What
during
a
Venom
shrewd-
and Free Guy. Like I hated those movies. So
that's true. Venom and Free Guy were the same. But yeah, there was one guy in front of us that was just he was losing it. Oh, he was kicking his feet up. Oh, he was the definition of rawful. There were people in the back who were losing it, and our row was just completely silent. None of us.
save for Justin though. Justin had the great
Justin,
time.
he silently loved that movie. He just sat there in his big chair with a big smile on his face. He gave it 4 stars. You know, he silently loved it. But everyone else, we were like, dog.
Yeesh.
I just
Varying degrees of distaste.
people are loving it. You know, and it's getting a sequel, and I'm just like, you know, I think Chris and I are the coldest ones. So Chris,
Yes.
tell us about your experience with Megan, aka with Regan.
Yeah. I mean, like, when I went into this movie, like, I wasn't expecting much of anything. Like, I knew that it was a movie, like a horror movie about this, like high-tech doll that kind of comes to life. And, you know, as someone who is a big Chucky fan, you know, like, I was like, okay, like, a modern, like, Black Mirror-esque rendition of it, you know, like, I can get on board with that. Like, you know, that works for me. But what I was treated to was a surprisingly flat and oddly boring and dull movie. Like, I didn't feel connected to any of the characters, and I don't even need much to get connected to a character in this kind of movie. You know, just something simple. You know, a kid. You know, or like whatever. Like they had what they needed. It just didn't come together at all for me, at least. And like, I thought the kills didn't really do anything for me. I didn't find
all the kills are in the trailer.
Yeah, and yeah, all the
Except
best parts of the
one.
movie are in the trailer. Yeah, that's true. There is one. But it's just like a lot of it is just feels kind of half baked to me. Like I would go for any of the Chucky movies over this movie, even the bad ones, and there are some bad ones. Don't like, you know. I've definitely seen a couple of the shitty ones in that series, but yeah, like, you know, I really wasn't asking for much with this movie, and it just kind of fell flat for me. Like I didn't feel connected to anything in it. At one point I was like, man, am I rooting for the characters? Am I rooting for Megan? Or, you know, maybe I'm overthinking this movie, but at the same time, this movie should not have to like dumb down its like vernacular in order to make me connect to it. This should be a very easy movie to make, but it just didn't work for me. I will say there are some. It has a moment or two where it's like, okay, they're doing something kind of creative. Like there's this one scene with this kid in the forest, and when Megan goes after him, it's like, and she starts running kind of like a wild beast. Like
Best part
that's kind of cool. Like that's cool. Like, you know, maybe do something that's a little surreal almost, you know, and that's kind of cool. But like the rest of it just did not gel for me. But I'm glad that there are people who do enjoy the movie. Justin, I walked away from that movie happy that someone got to enjoy themselves in our bunch, and that's always enough for me. I mean, just going to the movies is always enough for me. I just wish I got a little bit more with this one. I wish Brandon, you brought up right after the movie, you brought up this one dialogue scene, which I will admit is great. It's great. They dive into a dimension with this character that I actually think deserves some expansion and deserves something that is.
But they wasted
that's actually interesting. But it just kind of like it just comes and goes, and then it just doesn't. It has no relevance to the plot going forward. And like you can read this movie like a book. It's so easy to follow, and there's just not much to it. But that's just me. Ethan, you weren't too big on the movie either.
No.
Did you have anything you want to add to this conversation about Megan?
I just want to say, I thought all of the acting was horrible. I don't know how Brandon. You say what's her name? The girl from Get Out.
I think
awful.
No, she wasn't. She was fine.
She was.
Here's my reasoning for liking her performance in this movie. I think Allison Williams is playing it as flatly as possible on purpose because of her position in life as like a inventor, toy maker. She's not like the most socially awkward. Like she's not overhamming it up, but like she definitely is playing that as somebody who doesn't know what they want to do with their life, who doesn't know what to do with kids. Like I think that works. Is it like the greatest performance in the world? No. But I don't think it's a bad performance. I think she gives more than the girl in the movie, the little girl, who's awful. Sorry. Fuck. I will judge child actors accordingly. And like that like I don't care if like they're kids. I'm sorry.
No,
Wait,
yeah. Okay, no. That's
whoa,
the thing.
whoa, whoa! You You used to bully me about that. What are you talking about? You were always like, "Oh, Ethan's too hard on child actors," and now you're saying the exact same thing.
Ethan, you're a bit. You go way too hard on them, but like I feel like I'm being very kind.
You're a bit. That was some Trump stuff right there. You're a bit. Get him out of here. You're just a bit. Stop talking. You're a bit now. But listen, the kids in this movie were horrible. The worst I've ever seen.
They are awful. They
are pretty fucking awful. Like,
yeah, because like,
oh my god,
when it's a little kid who's like just trying to be cute, that's fine. This kid is like actually trying to act, and it pisses me off. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Sorry,
I'm like,
this.
No, I get what you're saying though. It's like, because like the thing about it is like, of course, you know, we give kids some level of leniency because, you know, they're fucking kids. You know, you can't expect the highest of acting from them. But at the same time, I think we can all agree, we have seen some kids act their asses off and like in some cases perform just as well, if not better than the adults. I think a great example, we've cited this movie before for this. Come on. Yeah. That kid is fucking amazing in that movie. Like, completely blows me out of the water in that movie. I have seen acting from adults who, like, that kid acts circles around them. So yeah, you know, like it sounds shitty, but at the same time, it's like there are great kid actors, and you know, so it's hard to like. It's like, I don't want to sound like a dick because of course, you know, it's a kid. You can't be too mean to them, but at the same time, like, shit, kid, you got your work cut out for you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just was too much for me. I liked aspects of the movie more than you guys, but I still gave it like a 2.
Yeah. I mean, we're not. It's us like he's like.
Yeah. Brandon's not like in love with this movie.
He still gave it a 2. That's still Garbo. Okay, that's still Garbo.
4 out of 10. Like, that's
4
not
out of
very
10.
good.
That's less. That's less than a 50%. That's less than an F in school grade terms. It was just boring. It was just so boring. Mithrigan isn't introduced until like the second, like not even. I don't know,
like 30 minutes in.
30 to 40 minutes in, you're just like, you're waiting for Mithrigan. You're not, you know, just like, what's going on here? You know.
See, I'm fine with 25 minutes, but I think they stretched it too far.
But once they introduce her, she's like, she barely does anything.
Yeah, she just sits there, and then people go ha ha ha, and you're like, why are they laughing? She's just standing there.
Yeah, her kills were not impressive at all. Besides the little boy ripping her ear off, that was cool. Like, that was cool. Seeing the ear stretch,
you know, there was a rated R cut because there's a shot in the trailer of like blood spatter. And if you rewatch the trailer, I'm sure you'll see it. But like, they removed it, so they cut this movie to a PG-13 for sure.
Yeah. Do you think this movie would have worked better with the R rating?
I don't think it saves it.
I don't know if it saves it. I think it might bump it a half star. Maybe.
I think it makes it more fun.
If it had good kills, you can still like justify that. You know,
right? Like a
oh my god. Speaking of which, Ronnie Cheng, man, like. I was so looking for. My god, give the guy a chance to rant, man. That's what you hired him for.
He is the best, like, comedian to come out of like the Sphere in the past 10 years, and barely used. They just make him angry, you know.
Yeah,
and like. It's really funny when he's angry. If you've watched like his stand-up specials, like that's what makes him so good, is he can present all these zingers with like this very angry and serious tone. You know, I took my phone across the room. You know, mine now. You know, we highly recommend you guys check out Ronnie Chang's special. What is it called? It Destroys America or something.
Asian Destroys America or something like that.
Funny, one of the funniest stand-up specials I've seen ever. Brand's like, I don't really get it.
Yeah, Brand's more of a Russell Peters, Jeff Dunham kind of guy, I feel like.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's more of a Nick Kroll kind of guy, you know?
When I'm high, yeah.
I'll fucking deny it. And if you
deny it, bro.
I'll fucking deny it. Queso, yes. No, not fucking you. That's not even close. That's a stretch.
That's a stretch and you know it.
That's a stretch and you know it, Queso. That's so stupid.
Queso.
Oh, sorry. We're talking about Sasha's party. We We all came over.
Now that's a great movie, by the
to
way.
my place, to the bog for a movie night, and we all sat down and watched Sausage Party for the first time since I've seen it in theaters. I don't know for you guys, but it holds up. It holds up
Yeah, it
pretty
does.
well.
It holds
Chris.
up. Yeah.
Chris,
Yes.
gotta ask you a question first.
Mhm.
What's your place's name called?
The Gulag?
The Gulag?
It's
Yeah,
a prison.
that's
Are you,
what-
Brandon, are you
'cause, like,
keeping the
they got-
Stackplex, or did you
Yeah.
rename it? Yeah, you're still
No, I'm
Stackplex.
keeping that. I'm keeping
Okay.
that.
Stackplex. Yeah.
That's
So
fine.
Stackplex, the Bog, and the Gulag.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Sausage Party has like a 2.4 average on Letterboxd.
Crazy. People hate
That's
that
crazy.
movie.
I don't understand.
Friend
I
of the
know
show,
the animator
Milo,
stuff.
he hates that movie.
Oh, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, like, we've talked about, like, the production
Yeah.
nightmare that it was, that movie. First of all, we do not condone any of that. That shit's bullshit. That should never happen. Fuck that.
Yeah.
As a movie, though, as a product, like, not product, that's not the
It-
right word, but it's good. Like,
It's smart. I
the
think it's a
story,
smart movie.
yeah, it's like it's your classic Seth Rogen like boner comedy, but it's also like a surprisingly sophisticated like movie about like religion, faith, human conditioning, and then Brandon, I remember you dove into an analysis about it like briefly while we were watching the movie, and it's like, dang, like, you could write a paper on this thing, but I don't know, man. Like, it just doesn't gel with some people, but
You
it
can
does
just-
with us.
You can analyze it from so many different angles, and they come together. And the best kind of stories intertwine their A, B, and C plots together,
Mhm.
and you don't even realize it till the end, because
Yeah.
that's how sophisticated the storytelling is. And then when you analyze and go back and analyze it, I'm going to use an example from a movie that came out last year. Nope. That movie did the same
Yeah.
thing. And it's
And-
incredible because you don't even realize it. Then when you go back and analyze it, you're like, it's so rich that all of these things connect to each other, but can exist on their own as well. And Sausage Party does the same thing, which is weird. It's weird. I don't love Sausage Party like I like
And-
Nope, but
And people misconstrued the A and the B and C storylines in Nope, and that's why some people don't like the movie. Cause they're like, I don't get why that's in the movie. You
they
know?
don't relate to each other at all. I'm like, they actually
I'm,
kind
I'm
of
like,
do.
they actually do. Like they're all supporting evidence for the film's thesis. You know,
Yeah.
and they're all 3 body paragraphs. You know, to the thesis. For
Well,
talking.
anyway,
Anyways, Megan?
this isn't their January movies.
Those movies that go in January. Anyways, Megan sucks. Good pick, Chris.
Yeah.
Not very many January movies are coming out for the rest of this month. With Regan's going to be my only 2023 film.
Yeah,
for
it's a
bit.
slow it's a slow January this year.
You don't want to watch Plane?
Oh, that comes out this
Ooh,
month.
Plane.
No, it came out like today.
It came out today.
It's out?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know it came
Oh
out.
shit.
Plane
Was-
and what's the other one? The House Party.
Oh yeah, I've heard about House Party.
Oh, well, let's talk about it.
Nobody. Well, it's January. Nobody's
It's
going to
January.
movies.
Hey,
Yes,
see,
yeah,
that's
it's
the-
January.
Hey, I wonder why that is. Here, let's talk about
I wonder
it.
why we
is
don't
that?
know what's coming up.
Okay, here's a good
It's as if
transition
they
to
have
one of
no cultural impact.
Here's a good transition to one of my next films. Speaking of don't know what's coming up, January. I think this month has also been proven as a big wild card month where studios will just throw wild cards. We're like, it doesn't matter if this movie makes no money. We just want to see what happens. You know, they make it a mystery. You know, often films with a lot of mystery, a lot of twists. M. Night Shyamalan usually has films that come out in January, like Split and Glass.
But
Came
they
out in
moved it to
January.
February.
Oh yeah, they did. But I was surprised that this movie came out in January. Matt Reeves' Cloverfield came out in January.
It's like the most iconic January movie of all time.
January 18th, 2008 is when Cloverfield came out. And I think that is just like the perfect example of, because I remember when Cloverfield came out, everyone, it's found footage. You're like, what is this movie about? There's some disaster happening, but you don't know what's happening, and that's what they display in the trailers. And it's like, it was a movie where it's like, you have to go see it to like, define, because no one wanted to spoil it. No one wanted to spoil the surprises in that movie. That was a really cool experience. And like, because January, like, it's this barren dumping ground of garbage, you know, uh, studios can sometimes have movies that come out like this. You know, Split was like that too, you know, because there's the big twist, spoilers for Split, that it was actually in the Unbreakable universe, you know? Everyone's like, whoa, what? And that was like something that got people to go into the movie. It's like sometimes studios will strategically play films like this, you know, where word of mouth normally would be the only thing to get people to go see this movie, you know? Like sometimes they'll drop those movies throughout the year, and like word of mouth will get people in. Like no marketing will do it justice, only word of mouth will. And then sometimes word of mouth is just not powerful enough because all these other bigger films come out, you know, that people care more about. But when January comes around, you know, that's all there is to talk about. So word of mouth is actually good, you know. So that's why I want to talk about Cloverfield, because I think that is such a good movie when it comes to like mystery. I hate the found footage genre, but I think Cloverfield does it really well here. I think it's probably the best found footage film I've ever seen. Question mark? I think it is. That one and Willow Creek are my the only two ones I can think of that are good. But I don't know.
Oh right, you didn't like Blair Witch, did you?
I hate Blair Witch.
It's okay.
No, that movie sucks.
It's fine. It's
pointless movie. It's building up to nothing. I
That's
don't care.
Very interesting take.
It's building up to nothing. The bit you're like,
it's interesting.
Spoilers. Okay, we're going all over the place here. I need to air out my grievances with Blair Witch. We're building up to a dude just standing in a corner. That's it. You know, that's what we'll build up the whole thing to. And I'm just like, you're trying to make this scary. That's not scary.
It's not what you see, it's what you don't see, Ethan.
I know, but
that's the whole conceit of horror. I don't think it's that scary either, but like I also didn't watch it in theaters in 1999, so.
But eventually you have to see it for horror films, you know? Like Jaws, like The Thing. Those movies are scary because of what you don't see, but you eventually see it, and that creates the spectacle of it. You know? Blair Witch, it never gives you anything ever. Leaves you completely unsatisfied by the end. You're like, oh, cool, I just watched nothing. You know? Hated it. And all the characters were so annoying, they were just yelling at each other. Anyways, what do you guys think about Cloverfield, though? That's a pretty good movie, right?
That's a pretty solid movie. It's not my favorite in the Cloverfield series. I mean, granted, I've
Cloverfield Lane is leagues better. You don't have to see the third one, but the other one's better. But Cloverfield's good.
Yeah, I think it's especially as far as found footage movies go. This is a pretty fucking good one. I think like the intrigue behind like what's going on here, like what's really going on in like. You know, what's the big mystery with you know, like why is everyone panicking, why is everyone running, and all that. Like it's a movie that I think takes full advantage of the form that that's undertaking as a found footage film. I do think it's operating within a genre form. What's the word for found footage? Is it form?
I mean,
is it a medium?
No, because it's still
is it a mode? You know, because it's like it's like documentary. There's modes of documentaries.
I guess it's a mode. Yeah, I guess a mode. I guess
a mode of genre filmmaking, because every documentary is technically
it's its own kind
footage.
Of That's true. Yeah, every documentary is technically found footage. But yeah, it takes full advantage of it, and I think like it's like the found footage mode is something that. Was such a popular fad for a while, but kind of fizzled out. And I feel like the on-screen mode became like surged up again briefly, like and then
searching
now like searching. I think is a great example. Unfriended, you know, that kind of stuff. Right. But yeah, and I think, like you said, I think Cloverfield takes full advantage of it and makes it work. Is it some like breakthrough piece of cinema? Not really for me, but for what it was. Works well.
I really like Cloverfield. I mean, like I remember the viral marketing campaign, and it scared me as a kid. Yeah. I think that the trailer was iconic. It was a teaser trailer, and I don't know if it's even in the movie, but they basically played with online marketing, which they did not do before like 2009. Like they rarely used the internet in terms of its marketing. And then they did for this movie, and I remember it was like these people just on a city street in New York, random shots, and then the Statue of Liberty had being thrown.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that's in the movie because I haven't seen Cloverfield since like 2016.
It is in the movie. I
Okay.
remember that.
But its allure and mystery is good, and I do think it's like one of the better found footage movies out there because it captures the chaos. It's high concept, which a lot of found footage movies really aren't. It's most found footage movies you could probably bet were made for like $20,000 with incentives for the stars and box office, if for modern day. You know,
Mhm.
back then it was an easy way to make a movie for 10 grand.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Cloverfield is like by far one of the best January movies out there. Not saying it's a great movie. I'd probably give it like a 3.5, but
Yeah, 3.5, 4, you know.
yeah, it's a fun time.
Put Matt Reeves
how
on the
could you
map,
hate?
you know.
Yeah.
Without that, no Apes movies, no Batman,
No Batman. Yeah.
No.
He's a good director.
He's a good director. I can't, you know,
He said he was actually asked about going back to the Cloverfield universe, and
really.
he said he would like to go
Ooh.
back to the world, but he doesn't even know where to start.
I don't even
and
know.
also-
where
That's a big
to
word.
start
Yeah, that's a big word.
I'm like, it was like the mystery box formula. Didn't Bad Robot produce it?
Yep, it's J.J. Abrams. It's
Yeah,
mystery box.
So
Him and his little mystery boxes. We love him for it, don't we? Yeah.
good choice.
I've got a movie to throw in here.
Yeah, throw it in.
All right, this is a movie very near and dear to mine and Ethan's heart. Brandon, I think you enjoy this movie just fine.
Oh yes, dude. I know exact. This is
Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life.
Fuck you.
baby.
Bad Boys for Life rocks. Come on, you know
This
Bad Boys
movie-
for Life rocks.
This movie rocks, dude. Oh, perfect. I'm glad we got
That's a
this
good
in
January
January of 2020.
Yeah, we needed that one. We really needed that one.
We needed it. It was the fun before the storm, you know. January 2020 was a very good month for me and Chris. You know, we were thriving in January 2020. You know,
Yeah,
we were some of the only ones out in Orange at the time. You know, people back home. We were taking that horror class. We were hanging out like every day in January. It was great.
yeah, it was such a
I'm
good
saying-
time.
And we went and saw Bad Boys for Life with a great crowd. Oh my god, we saw an IMAX, and you know we ride together, we die together, bro. We like
Hell yeah.
we get these movies, and you know, unfortunately, we know some people who are they just don't get it. You know, they just
Yeah.
don't get these movies.
They're good, man. Good, man. But we're bad boys.
Good man.
Yeah, who the hell wants to see that movie?
We don't see that. That's what they were expecting to see, but we want Bad Boys. They wanted good man.
Yeah, this was Bad Boys for Life was such a pleasant movie for me because it was exactly the movie that I wanted it to be, and it was very unapologetic about what it was and what it wanted to do. You know, it didn't take itself overly seriously, but it took itself seriously enough that you can get invested and you can enjoy yourself. And yeah, it was such a good time. I really enjoyed that movie. And just like, yeah, that experience of going to that movie with a surprisingly sold out crowd, like that theater
was
was
packed.
packed. And like, man, like I remember having a great time with you. Yeah, Brandon, you're not the hottest on these movies, but like you enjoy Bad Boys enough. You got nothing to say? Silence. All right.
This is kind of like when we took Brandon to go see Bad Boys for Life. When we took Brandon, Joey, and Tori, and then they ghosted us for the rest of the night.
In my defense, I was not feeling super good. And the editing of that movie made me feel awful. Even worse. Joey and I got physically sick by watching that movie.
Weak.
And we don't know why.
Weak.
No, but it's really not a good movie.
It's a great movie, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm glad you
Sorry.
guys enjoyed it with your crowd of people that you went with.
All right.
That's it. That's all I gotta say. Fucking assholes.
You're okay.
You got anything?
Let me tell you.
Why? Yeah.
Let me tell you the story of when we took Brandon and Joey and Tori to go see this movie. First of all, we went to the beach first. I remember, and we got
remember that,
donuts.
yeah.
I remember we got donuts at the beach, and then we were like, you know, a couple people were a little high, you know, And we're like, you know what would be great right now? Let's go see Bad Boys. Chris and I love the movie. We want to go show everybody Bad Boys. Bad Boys for life. And we go in there, we watch the movie, we come out, and it's like they didn't even know who we were anymore when we came out of the theater. They pretended they didn't even know us when we were leaving the theater. I was like, what's going on? It's like we just offended them or something. I guess we offended them with a bad time at the movies, and not my problem. I had fun, Nothing you can do from that. You're over it? Clearly you're not. You're silent and mad now.
I could do better.
You could do better? Alright, do better then.
Paddington.
Okay.
Oh, this is good.
I have not seen this movie yet.
What the hell, Chris?
I have never seen a Paddington movie.
for Halloween!
I know, right? Is that weird?
Yes, it is weird.
That is very weird. You were someone you've never... Oh my god.
Yeah,
Okay.
very wholesome movies, It's crazy that it's a kids movie, right? Most kids movies, like we joke, The Nut Job came out. Norm of the North came out.
Nut Job.
Those movies are January movies, but Paddington is like good. It's actually good,
Yeah, it's good.
I think it's a very wholesome movie. I don't think it's as good as everybody says it is. I think the 99% rotten sorry. The 99% Rotten Tomatoes stuff is like, it's just because nobody wants to give that movie a bad rating. It's not because everybody gives it 5 stars,
Yeah.
And it's a good movie. It's like a 4-star movie because of how wholesome it is, how the characters treat each other, and you don't expect it going in to capture your heart, and then it actually does. And it's surprising that it comes out among the shitty kitty schlock in January.
Yeah, and this is also one of the cases for a film, my last film that I've talked about, where it's like, the Paddington films always come out during Christmas time in the UK, and then they come out in January in the US, which I don't get why. I feel like I'd much rather go see Paddington in December, But anyways, Paddington is a good film, and it's a good film that I literally, even though I've seen it, I can't tell you anything that happens in these movies. Like, I just know that they're pleasant films. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing memorable, I feel, about... I don't know if this is a hot take, because I know people champion, like, the Paddington movies as like, oh, we have some friends that just love the Paddington movies. I can't tell you one thing that happens in them. It's the bear. He's a nice guy. British family.
It's like Stuart.
He likes marmalade, and he gets into trouble or something. I don't know.
You're a hater.
I'm not. I like the movies. I just can't tell you anything that happens in them. They're just good movies that are forgettable.
Do you think that the good January movies are always forgettable? Because they come out at the beginning of the year, so like it's less likely to be on your best of list.
Nah,
because like
Bad Boys for Life was at the top, bro. That was one of my favorite 2020 movies.
Yeah, okay, but what did you see in 2020 I didn't see you go to the theater.
Shut up. Doesn't matter. Shut up.
Now it comes out.
No. Cloverfield is a good movie. I think that may have been one of my favorite 2008 films. I think
it's
I don't know.
It's pretty good.
But you're right. Early in the year, you tend to forget those earlier in the year movies.
It's better than Norm of the North, man.
Dude.
Oh, Norm of the North.
No, let's talk.
What an era that was.
What an era. I'm still waiting for Norm of the North.
Time.
What is it? 6? 5?
5.
They said they're making 5. Where is it?
We're
ready.
Yeah, we'll be there. We're waiting. We're ready.
We are literally waiting. Waiting in line.
China.
Oh my god! Remember? Oh my god, the 4th. China. Oh my gosh, that was such a fun day.
That was a fun day.
And funnily enough, the 3rd one was like okay.
Yeah, and the 3rd one is actually okay, which made it like after seeing the first 2, which are absolutely
it made it
horrendous,
like a 3-star movie.
It
was like wow, that was weird. Cinema's alive.
Great. Wait, is that the one where they go to China? No, the 4th one.
No, that's the 4th one because
but that one's boring as hell, man.
That one's
the 2nd one's
boring.
actually worse than the 1st one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't
after they recast him. Yeah.
The second one is like 2 movies. Remember, it just like it becomes.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
kind of like Chunking Express. It's kind of awesome like that actually.
Why did you just compare Norma the North,
North of the North
2?
to Chunking Express.
Let's just say when you listen to Stacked, we like to think outside the box. You get those
I
outside
guess
of the
that's
box
true.
details,
I don't
you
know.
You get some conversations that you can't find anywhere else, such as Norm of the North 2 and Chunking Express being the exact same movie. Think about it. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, Paddington. That's a good January movie. I remember seeing that. I want to talk about a January movie that I was saying, like the awards films that are limited release or come out across seas in December.
Across seas.
Across. I've never heard that expression before.
Across the seas.
No, you said across seas.
Across
You didn't
seas.
say the. You didn't say the.
Yeah, they're just across seas. There's two. There's Atlantic, there's Pacific. They're both directions. There's many seas they could be across from. Across the seas, from sea to shining sea.
I'm gonna steal your thunder, and I'm gonna say he's talking about The Founder.
I'm not talking about did that come out in January?
Yes, it did, baby.
Wow.
All right, we can hold off on my pick. We gotta talk about The Founder for a second.
God, what a movie. That's a great movie.
I can't believe Joey's never seen The Founder before.
Yeah, Joey, how have you not seen
Guys,
this movie?
we
You're a
gotta
McDonald's
we
kid.
gotta bring a movie night where we go out and get McDonald's, sit down. And
All of our friends are invited.
all of our
Yes.
friends all of our listeners are invited. You can come over, share some McDonald's, and watch The Founder, because that is like, it's a film about how corrupt Ray Kroc was and how he took over the company, but it's so wholesome at the same time. I don't get it.
Yeah. There's this
It's
scene.
weird.
There's this scene that I have rewatched. I rewatch this scene probably like once every 2 weeks at least. It's the
What?
scene where when Ray Kroc goes to McDonald's for the first time and experiences fast food for the first time. And just like seeing him kind of go through that really weird, like enigmatic process of experiencing fast food, and as someone who has never done that before, it's kind of a fascinating sequence, and also just like it's so satisfying. There's something about the way this movie is constructed that's really satisfying. Like you can just watch it and you're just like, oh, it's so like just comforting to watch, even though it's like about corruption.
And how terrible capitalism is.
correct.
How terrible it
You
can
know?
be. Yeah.
No, but like Ray Kroc's a terrible human being. Like he destroys
Yeah.
a small business. He steals their idea, like Mark Zuckerberg did for Facebook.
Yeah.
He franchises the shit out of it, losing the message of what it means to be a good business. A good business, and like having that motto and philosophy. And then doesn't he have he's unfaithful to his wife as well? I'm pretty sure that's a subplot.
If I remember,
think
I
so.
don't know, man.
I only made it halfway through the film last time I watched it last year.
But I really like this movie. I own it on Blu-ray.
It's
I think
good.
it's great. I gotta get it. Michael Keaton's great in it.
He is.
Oh, he's great.
I am
He's actually-
shocked. I am shocked this movie got no Oscar love.
Are you
'Cause it was
serious?
Yeah, I think it's a really good
not.
movie. Like, it is kind of generic at times, but like it's like so sincere in its genericness that I can't help but love it. And
Yeah.
also Michael Keaton is great in this movie. Like, honestly, this is the Keaton sons. Like, it was right after Birdman and Spotlight, so I was like,
Oh, he
why
was
not
in his.
three? Yeah, he was in his prime, his second prime.
It's just like, there's something really beautiful about movies that are just good.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like sometimes you don't want to throw on like a 5-star right now. Because
Like, I don't want to watch Schindler's List tonight.
I ain't watching Schindler's List. I ain't watching End of Evangelion tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not.
I don't want to watch. I don't want to cry my eyes out watching. I don't know.
Paddington 2.
Paddington 2. No. Watching. Ice Age. Or something like that. Everyone's like Ice Age. I think it's a 5-star movie. Shut up. You just want to throw in something that's good. something you can just relax to,
Something reliable. Yeah.
Because sometimes in a masterpiece, you really lose yourself in it. You don't want to
Lose yourself.
You don't want to lose yourself in the music, the moments. You want to never let it go. No, you don't. You never want to, completely lose yourself in a film. You're just like, I want to hang out on the couch and just be relaxed, watch just a good movie.
Yeah.
And that's what The Founder is for. It's just I think it's one of the best, just good movies. Just good. Not great, just good. And that's
like alongside Olympus Has Fallen as like my comfort good movies.
Yeah, comfort good
like
movies.
Battleship.
Battleship? No.
No.
Okay, what's
it?
That's
guilty. That's a guilt.
That's not
guilty
a good.
I know. That's not.
Let me think. What's just like just a straight up good
I'm looking
movie?
over my Blu-ray shelf right now, trying to find a just good movie.
I mean, we have plenty, I'm sure, if I look through my movie collection.
I think Predator. Predator is a just good movie that I think is a lot of fun. I wouldn't say that movie's incredible. I think it's just good.
What's a just good movie I am?
I don't know.
I really don't fucking care, Brandon.
No, I didn't say I don't care. I just don't know. I don't know. Well, anyways, January is also good for those just good movies. Movies. Yeah. I remember seeing The Founder. Nobody was in the theater. My dad fell asleep while we were watching it. Just one of those movies where you're just like, oh yeah. I'm the only one awake in this theater watching The Founder, and you know what? That's all right. That's all right, Mama. That's all right.
Best in show.
Would say. Best in show. Yeah, that movie's good. Just good. I don't know. I don't think it's so good. It's just good.
That's what I'm saying.
Just good. I know.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
And that's it. What was your other pick?
My last pick. Yes, I should talk about this. Is a film that we went and saw in the cold winter of January. My dad left the car on when we went and saw it. So when we got out of the theater, it was like midnight, and our car was dead. And we had just to survive the elements because it was kind of a lot like the movie itself. It's The Revenant. The Revenant did a very small limited release. It was a very small December 2015, and then its wide release was January 2016, and that's when I saw it. And I don't know, I feel like that was just one of those good movies where it's like, we're out of the chaos of awards season, now I can just sit down with this really cool, intense film, and just think about it for all of January because there was no other movies that came out. I think The Revenant's a great film. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
It's like what?
I just don't know. I think of that movie in its own little sphere, its own little ball universe it lives in, because it doesn't feel like a movie that. The only reason it got recognized was because of Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's be honest. That's the only reason that movie got the buzz it did.
That's true.
I think the lighting in cinematography is fantastic, but I don't think normally people would go to the audience or go to the theater for something like that. And maybe that's what's so charming about it. But it also reeks of that late December push. Like the Adam McKay movie. Like The Big Shorts, the Don't Look Ups of the world, the Vices.
Yeah.
Yeah. No slouch on The Revenant. It's a good movie. I just don't love it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of The Revenant. I really enjoy it. I think I personally really beyond its amazing production and oh my god, this team must have went through hell for this movie. That shit looks awful to film in. Those conditions must have sucked. But what I came around with this movie is the thing I really like about it is how it kind of dives into this kind of existential story about man's relationship with nature, and it's kind of done through this very subdued way. Yes, it is a revenge story, but at the same time, it's also a story about man unleashed. And at least that's the way I see it, and I find that to be a fascinating thing. This is actually probably one of my favorite of Iñárritu's, even though it's the least like him, honestly, at least in my opinion.
Is. Yeah.
But I think it comes across very well, and I personally very much enjoy this movie. Yeah, Thumbs up for me for this movie.
Big old thummy thumbs. All right, well, those are the old movies I picked for January. Is anyone else
Before we wrap it up, I want to just throw one more in there. Actually, two more, but they're I can pair them together. One of them I can't even really speak on because I have not seen this movie, but I've heard nothing but amazing things, and I intend to see this movie one day. Number one, Before Sunrise. That movie came out in January of 1995.
Oh, wow.
And Silence of the Lambs, which came out in February. Well, January, the literal last weekend of January in 1991.
That's crazy, and it won all the Oscars.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just throw out some out there. I'm gonna throw out my favorites. Taken 3, The Boy, Mordecai, The Fifth Wave. No, I'm joking.
The Fifth Wave.
I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. The first Taken came out in January, and that's a classic. That's an action classic. The Gray, I never saw The Gray.
Me either. Guess January's a good month for Liam Neeson, I guess.
I suppose. He did Nonstop in February, but I digress. Split, Kung Fu Panda 3.
Oh,
I enjoy Ride Along. I have fun with those movies, especially the first one. That was kind of like the beginning of Kevin Hart in modern cinema. And then my last one, and I have to shout it out because it came out last year and I loved it. The studio didn't believe in it, and now we're getting the sequel this year. I've got the reboot of Scream. I think it's so tasteful, and I love that franchise. So it just was a dream come true to see something like that in the theater. But yeah, those are mine.
When's the new Scream coming out?
February,
March.
right? Oh, March. Dang.
Yeah. So they have a little more belief. Yeah. I think the horror slate for this year, horror and animation the next 2 years is going to be pretty solid.
Yeah.
Especially after the lackluster year we had in 2022 lackluster.
What are you talking about?
In terms of animation, yeah. Horror was good, but animation I think was lackluster.
And I think Turning Red, The Bad Guys, Pinocchio. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
But I not that big of a fan of. I liked those movies. The only one I loved or bordered on loving was Turning Red.
What? I thought we both saw The Bad Guys and we thought it was great. What are you talking about?
I thought it was very fun. I gave it 4. But it's a low 4. That's a low 4. Look at where it is on my ranking.
It's a 3.5. That movie's a 3.5 for me, man.
Yeah, it's like a just good movie for Chris. But that's what I mean. Like the next year and a half or 2 years is gonna be really good.
Ethan, when's the last time you gave an animation film 5 stars?
When's the last time I gave an animated film 5 stars?
Mine is Spider-Verse.
I didn't give Spider-Verse 5 stars.
Well, the last animated movie I gave 5 stars was probably Paprika. But that didn't come out.
No, that came out.
In release, I mean.
You meant most recent? Let me look.
Yeah.
The most recent 5-star film. Oh, End of Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0. That came out last year. But if we're talking American animation, the Lego Movie was the last 5-star.
That Lego film. Man, that first Lego movie is so good.
That's yeah. That's the movie that really started for me. I feel like that's what started big movies being in February.
Yeah. But I remember the Ninjago movie that was surprisingly decent.
It's good. I'm okay. Here's something that you guys probably didn't know about me. I've only rated 7 animated films 5 stars.
7?
Yeah.
What were they?
Paprika, End of Evangelion, Beauty and the Beast, It's Such a Beautiful Day, Akira, The Princess and the Frog, A Town Called Panic.
Wow.
Dang.
So I guess I'm very strict with animated movies because I have a lot of 4.5s but not a lot of 5s, which is crazy.
You just don't really take the medium for granted and think it's just for kids or something like that,
I mean a lot of the films I listed are not kids movies, I suppose.
Oh, okay, Mr. What,
but
Del
I've never rated a
Toro's
Ghibli movie 5 stars.
What? Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
And I guess the most recent then would have to be 2012's It's Such a Beautiful Day. To answer your question. And then Princess and the Frog. I honestly think the closest 5-star animated movie is probably Inside Out. Like that's close to being 5, and that came out in 2015.
Hmm.
But for you guys, it's been a while, huh? Well, or not
Yeah,
that much
well,
long.
Spider-Verse, like that's like what,
2014
two,
for me.
4 or 5 years for me.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe
2021,
animation.
and why am I diminishing Japanese animation? No, 2021 was the last time I gave movie 5 stars. Last year, stand by that. But what's coming out this year? What's coming out this year? It's so
For
great.
animation,
Spider-Verse
Spider-Verse
2.
2. That's exciting.
Then
What's
Ninja
Pixar putting
Turtles.
out?
Pixar is putting
Elemental.
out Elemental, and then Disney's putting out Wish, that movie that's
Oh,
based
that
around the
sounds
star.
Oh,
I like that idea, frankly. I know why people are cringing at it, but I like it. DreamWorks is coming out with an original movie called Meet the Gilmans, which is about a family of Kraken. It's like a coming of age
I'm so
story.
happy to see DreamWorks doing some like unique stuff lately.
Yeah.
There was one more. They're coming out with Troll
Oh,
3.
Ghibli's doing something.
Oh, Ghibli.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Miyazaki.
it's my top
It's
10.
That's like it's in my top 5. Yes, Hayao Miyazaki's next film's coming out next year. Holy shit, that's insane.
This year.
All right,
This year.
This year.
Oh yeah, because it is this year. It's 2023 now. That's great. Oh my god. Yeah, of course. Okay, animation's gonna be great this year. I want to know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good year for animation.
Whew.
In horror, we have Evil Dead Rise.
Yes.
We have an Exorcist movie from David Gordon Green.
Oh
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
no.
And then we have Scream 6, and that is what I'm happy for most, I think.
I'm also really excited for Knock at the Cabin.
That's a horror movie, I guess.
Ooh. I think that's gonna be good. I don't know.
Yeah,
that looks
me too.
cool. I'm
Looks
I'm
interesting.
curious to see like what the reveals are.
And I'm excited to see Batista like get dramatic again. I think
dude.
he's great. I think
We're
he's
getting-
fantastic.
He's the
The
best
Nun
wrestler
2?
turned actor.
Yeah, definitely.
We get the
Everyone's
Nun
like
2.
Roddy Piper is. No, dude.
No, he's not.
Day Live's
No.
good, but it's nowhere near what Batista was doing, like Blade Runner 2049 or Glass Onion, or this movie.
Yeah.
Or Drax.
Yeah.
Cena's getting there though. Cena's getting
Yeah,
there.
Cena's working his comedy, which is great. I think
he's
he
working
works
his
great.
comedy. He's like becoming one of the funniest like guys out there. Oh my god.
Yeah, I agree.
Chris Stuckman's horror movie comes out this
Oh
year.
yeah, Stuckman's work comes out. We're getting Stuckmanized this year, guys.
Oh boy. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good year.
Yeah.
I have
Well-
nothing to base off Chris Stuckman as a filmmaker.
I guess, okay, we're going to stop talking, because I don't know how long you guys want to
okay,
go on
end the
for.
show. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I think
We've
Because
gone
we're
past
not talking
an hour.
about-
We can wrap it up soon, but go say
Yeah.
what you're gonna say.
I was like, we're not really talking about January movies anymore.
Yeah.
And since we don't have any final stack, I'm just going to say go watch Cloverfield after this. And then I don't know if you guys wanted to list off any other movies that you're excited for. Since it's our first episode of the new year, we can talk about our most anticipated movies before we wrap it up. I don't know if you guys want to
Oh,
do that.
that's a great idea.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
a-
Let's rattle off some picks.
Yeah, Brandon, you want to go first? I know you put out your big master list the other day.
I did. I have 111 titles on this list. I'm not. It's on my letterbox list. It's listed as all the movies I'm interested in seeing. Now, I'm not excited to see all of these in the sense that I'm like rushing to opening night for 111 movies to watch these, but like, I want to watch most of these, and there are a lot of sequels I don't want to watch, and I've listed those, but I'm gonna have to watch with the people I'm with. I feel like I'm gonna have to go see the Meg 2 or Paw Patrol 2 for shits and giggles. I feel like
Wait,
I'm
did
gonna
you say
get
the
dragged.
Meg 2?
Yeah, Meg's 2's the Meg
There's
2
a Meg
is coming
2?
out.
Oh, I didn't
know.
know there was a Meg 2.
Yeah, that's coming out this year. I feel like I'm gonna get dragged to Aquaman 2 and the Book Club 2.
Hell,
God.
you definitely are. You can count on that one.
Yeah, so, but like as far as like my most anticipated of the year, I gotta go through my top 10. Miyazaki's How Do They Live?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or How Do You Live? I'm so excited. Asteroid City, the new Wes Anderson movie, is
Oh.
coming out this year
That looks
with
good.
Tom Hanks.
Dude, I can't wait for that.
I'll
I'll talk about it when I'm listing mine. Keep going with yours.
Alex Garland is coming out with an action
Oh.
I had
epic
no
called
idea.
Civil War,
That's
Oh.
crazy.
and it stars Kirsten Dunst and Stephen McKinley Henderson.
Huh.
Do you guys know
Me,
that guy?
I don't know that guy, but I know.
You'll look him up and you'll recognize his face. David Fincher's got a movie coming out this year, The Killer.
Oh yes, finally,
with Michael
a Fincher
Fassbender.
movie that feels like a Fincher movie.
What?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Beau is Afraid. Love that trailer. Looked like Misery plus Synecdoche, New York, plus like some Michelle
Science of
Gondry
Sleep.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that was good.
Killers of the Flower Moon. New
Oh,
Scorsese.
Scorsese.
Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things. Really looking forward to that because I love that director and he's great. It's got Willem Dafoe in it and Mark Ruffalo and Emma Stone, so that's an interesting group.
That is interesting.
Ridley Scott's coming out with his Napoleon movie.
Yes, and Joaquin Phoenix is Napoleon. That's crazy.
Oh
Joaquin
yeah.
Phoenix is gonna have the year.
Let's see how it compares to the other Napoleon movie, eh, Brandon?
Yeah, the other one that was fantastic.
Which is a masterpiece.
My number 2 is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yep, that's exciting.
I need to watch 2 of the Mission Impossible movies for the first time that I haven't seen this year. I haven't seen 2 or 3,
I need to see
but
four of them. I haven't seen four.
But I am determined because I am thrilled to. I love Tom Cruise unabashedly. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite actors, even if he's a terrible person. And my number 1 is a direct-to-streaming movie. It's the Community movie. It's finally happening. I'm so excited. This is a promise that has been gestating. I've watched this show since like 2012, 2011. So it's like a dream come true to see. But yeah, I don't know if there's any others that. I mean, all the blockbusters. I'm just Indiana Jones, I guess. Super Mario Brothers.
Wait, let me save some for me. Come on now.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead. You can shout out some.
Let me roll down my top 10. Obviously, the Spider-Verse sequel. Can't wait to see what they do with that. Blue Beetle. I can't wait to see what they do with Blue Beetle. It's such a new, fresh hero. I've heard promising things about Blue Beetle. Just on the streets. I drive around the Warner Brothers a lot. To see what they say about that.
You ask people, passersby, hey, Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle, what do you think? They're like, oh, it's good. Dune Part 2 is coming out. The second Dune.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dial of Destiny is coming out. Indiana Jones. I'm very nervous about that film, but
I'm not. It's James Mangold, man. Trust the dude.
Listen, Indiana Jones, as much as I love the franchise, I always realize this. Like, I love Indiana Jones, but he's batting at 50-50. I only like 2 of the 4 movies, so we'll see if this one breaks a tie. We'll see which direction it breaks it in. Asteroid City. For some reason, like, I love Wes Anderson. I absolutely love that dude. I love everything. I love his whole thing, And I will always be first in line to see a Wes Anderson movie, just because he is just such a unique voice, and it gels with me so well. I know people like to clown on Wes Anderson movies. Not me. I love them so much. It's always an event when one of his movies come out. Aquaman 2. Chris and I are going to be seeing that. We're going to be first in lines. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
How Do You Live? Miyazaki's next film. I'm not ready for whatever that's going to be. I know nothing about that. I just know like there's a bird and there's like an eyeball in its mouth. I don't know what's going on there. The Super Mario Brothers movie. It
looks decent.
It's not like the first Sonic movie where I was terrified to see it. I was anticipated. It's like I compared like Sonic movies. Like I was anticipating seeing that movie as if I was anticipating like a family member getting out of surgery. Just to see what's happening. Like if they're going through like a brain surgery. You're like, oh shit. I just need this to be over. I just need to see what happens, That's what it was like. But this, I'm genuinely excited to see the Mario Brothers movie. I have so much faith in it now, which is crazy because it's Illumination. Chris Pratt is doing a horrible Mario voice, but literally everything else looks phenomenal. Can't wait. I can't believe you haven't mentioned Guardians 3. I've reflected in my time recently that like the Guardians movies are like, I can't believe how much I care about these characters. I realized this once I watched the holiday special. I'm like, this special is good, but like, I can't believe that I was crying during it because like I know and love all these characters so much, because that first Guardians film was so formative to me growing up. It might be more like my Star Wars. The first Guardians film, like that was just that hit me at the right time, and it's gonna be emotional saying goodbye, like wrapping up this trilogy. It's gonna be a definitive ending to whatever this team that we know. And of course, number one is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Oh my god, that's
my number 11.
Oh, that just listen. Kang the Conqueror, he looks glorious. MODOK's in there. He's not just a robot. He actually got a face. Yeah,
I feel like we exist in the minority about this movie because everybody's shit talking it on the internet, and we're like sitting in our little bubbles. It's like our most anticipated Marvel movie of the year.
Yeah, people are shit talking it because they're tired of the visual effects, which I get. I get the coloring and visual effects. That's the only reason they're shit talking it. But this looks, man, I could write like an essay on that new trailer that came out alone and how it is just like it is wrapping up Scott Lang's storyline from this very first movie.
I think
his whole character arc has been about time and lost time, and now he's finally coming in this third movie. It's kind of finally wrapping all up about time, being a father. There's going to be heist elements to it. It seems brilliant, and the dialogue in the trailer is really good. I couldn't ask for anything more, honestly.
Somebody on the internet was like, this movie looks like it showed the whole movie in the trailer.
No.
And one of the scoopers who like consistently like talks about stuff, spoileristic stuff, was like, if you think this movie showed you the whole thing in the trailer, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by what you get.
Yeah.
Which makes me excited, and I hope it's not just an Easter egg setup fest for the Kang Dynasty. I hope it's not what they hoped Multiverse of Madness would be.
I think there's going to be actual consequences in this movie that will set up King Dynasty.
I think that's what Phase 5 is going to be about, which is why I'm excited for this year of Marvel, as much as that's ridiculous to say after Phase 4 when everybody was like super irritated and mixed on every single product.
Yeah.
So
I can't even tell you what Phase 4 was about, but
Chris,
so just loose ends from Endgame, I guess. Yeah,
yes.
Chris, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna skim through because I pretty much agree with every single pick that you guys put forward, but I'll just throw in a couple of ones. Number one that I'm looking forward to this year, well, not number one, but like the one that's coming out soon that I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to see 80 for Brady. I really want to see that movie. Okay, let's see what else. Cocaine Bear. I'm so excited. Oh, yeah. I'm Guy Fieri. Cocaine Bear.
I'm now scared for Cocaine Bear after Megan.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm afraid I'm going to be underwhelmed. I don't know.
John Wick 4. I'm excited to see that.
Oh yeah, that one always misses my top 10. The John Wick movies, they always sleep on my top 10, but I always love them.
There's this movie called Suzume no Tojimari. I probably fucked up that pronunciation. That's not Jaime. That's Shinkai's new movie. I'm excited to see that.
Oh yeah, she falls in love with a chair, right?
Yeah, or I don't know, but chair is big.
That's awesome. Hey, I'm not hating. That's cool as fuck. I want to see what happens.
I'm adding that to my list.
If this movie really does come out, I'm just curious to see what happens. I'm excited to see The Flash.
Yo, it's coming out. I'm not.
It's
excited.
probably gonna come out, but yeah. What else we got?
What's gonna happen there?
Is this movie what I think it is? How?
It's gonna come out
that's not,
because
Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, Barbie.
Oh yeah, Barbie. I'm excited to see Barbie.
Same day.
Same day.
Yeah. I guess my big art movie, one of my bigger art movies of the year that other than the ones that you guys mentioned, I'm really excited to see Maestro. Just because I want to give Bradley one more chance. Because I was not a big fan of Star is Born, so let's see how he does. And yeah, there's a bunch more. Spider-Verse 2, obviously, but like we've listed out so many already. Yeah, it's gonna be a good year. We got a good year ahead of us, guys.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope Next
good.
Goal wins and the Willy Wonka movie are good.
Oh right, Wonka.
The Willy Wonka. I don't give a shit if the movie's not good. Willy Wonka.
Chicken Run 2.
What? Is Gibson coming back for that one?
Wait, when does Creed 3 come out?
What?
Creed 3.
That comes out
March.
March. Yeah, that's coming out this year.
Oh,
That'll be
geez.
great.
That's coming out fast. Jeez.
What are you not excited about the what is it? Oh, Nimona. That's coming out.
What is that?
Nimona. It's that movie that
Pneumonia?
Blue Sky canceled. No. Okay. Okay. Fine.
What is
It's
it?
Whatever.
What is
It's
it?
a movie.
I don't know what it
it's
is.
a movie that Blue Sky got canceled because
Because they were bought by
the-
Disney.
no, it was an LGBT movie,
Oh,
animated movie, and Netflix
Oh.
picked it up after it was canceled, and they're actually coming out with it this year.
oh, that's cool.
Then there's the Please Don't Destroy movie, the SNL group of members, the funniest people on SNL nowadays. 65.
Is Kyle
Come on,
Mooney on
man.
it?
I don't know. We'll see.
Hope so.
Is Kyle Mooney in it? I don't care. Anyway, those
You
are
said,
all I
You
care
said the
about.
best people that worked on SNL, so I don't know. Well, lots of good movies to look forward to. Lots of good episodes of Stack to look forward to. Let us know what you thought about the new arrangement, this new format to the show. You know, I think we're gonna have some fun here. I think it's gonna just lead the way for more topics. You know, more discussion, more banter between the three of us. You know. So yeah, let us know what you think, and let us know what your favorite January movies are. What movies remind you of the month of January in the comments.
Guys,
What?
I can't believe you didn't. Sorry, never mind.
What?
You didn't even mention that Fast 10 comes out this year.
Oh!